Dogs have been considered man's best friend. That cliche did not become a common phrase for no good reason. Dogs can be comforting, loving, entertaining, help humans feel safe and secure, and even provide a sense of purpose in one's life. Many consider them to be a part of their family. And did you know that owning a dog can be good for your health? In fact, having a dog can help decrease the odds of developing depression, especially when faced with a chronic condition such as HIV. Speaking of odds ratio is a term often used in research studies and is very common in epidemiology. It is not the easiest epidemiological concept to understand, however. The odds ratio tells you the odds of something in the base population. This is because the sampling fraction is unknown. Specifically, it is what the chances of an event happening are divided by the chances of it not happening. What makes this concept confusing is when referring to odds ratio, you have to be careful of the language used to express the statistical data because the tricky part is in the interpretation of the results. You want it to make sense to the average person. In a web-based study of dog ownership and depression among people living with HIV, the odds ratio was calculated to be 3.01 with a confidence interval of 95%. This means that those that did not own dogs had 3 times higher odds of depression compared to those that did own dogs. Now let's backtrack a bit and use a much more simple example that would be similar to one that you might find in the book for dummies. Not at all assuming that one would be dumb not understanding this concept because it's tough stuff. Everyone understands what a die is, so often statistics examples use dice to express more difficult concepts. Let's say you wanted to know how likely it is that you will roll 1 die and have it land on 4. The odds ratio would be the chances of rolling a 4 divided by the chances of not rolling a 4. A die has 6 sides, but it will be landing on one of them. So you have 5 chances that it will not land on a 4. The chance of rolling a 4 is simply 1 because you are rolling the dice once. Therefore, the odds ratio is 1/5. Now, let's put this into context and go back to the study that we were discussing earlier. Let's see how this translates into actual research. Recall that the odds ratio was 3.01, and that meant that the odds were 3 times higher of depression in people with HIV if you did not own a dog compared to those who did. Statistics are often expressed by using the words increased or decreased risk. To make this even more complicated, when using those exact terms and referring to odds ratio, you have to subtract a 1. Because why? 1 is the null value. Those who have HIV and do not own dogs have 2 times the increased risk to have depression than those that do. As you can see, it is more difficult to express and interpret when the calculation yields a number that is below 1. While odds ratio can be a very hard concept to understand, it is very telling data when used in research studies.